Brett Scharffs, speaking about the COVID crisis as the crisis of trust.
Thank you, Professor Barclay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this blog webinar. Ask a family therapist what is most likely to destroy a marriage, or a business consultant what is most likely to damage a successful enterprise, or a political scientist what will sabotage a nation, and you are likely to get the same answer: trust, or to put it negatively, the end of trust. When we stop trusting each other or the institutions we inhabit, it's difficult to imagine what else we might do right that will compensate for the harm done by the eradication of trust. Thus, it is through the prism of trust that I have been thinking about the coronavirus crisis. Perhaps the most disheartening aspect of the COVID crisis in the United States has been its politicization. Attitude towards basic preventative measures such as social distancing and wearing masks vary dramatically depending upon whether people identify as Republican or Democrat. For churches and church leaders, trust has never been more important than it is right now. For religious leaders, one of the most important benchmarks for decision-making during this crisis is how to engender rather than undermine trust. One of the things I have found interesting and heartening is how innovative, creative, responsive, and responsible most religious leaders and communities have been. Many, though not all, and not the ones we tend to hear about in the news, have acted in ways that generate trust at a time when the need for trust is at a premium. With a presidential election just 1 month away, we are right to be worried about whether we can trust something as basic as the integrity of our electoral system. There is real and widespread fear that the outcome of the presidential election in either direction will result in the disappointed side reacting with protests that become violent. The number of people on the left as well as the right who seem willing or inclined to burn it all down seems distressingly high. In my lifetime, I've never been more concerned that the middle will not hold, that W.B. Yeats's vision of a time when, quote, the best lack all conviction while the worst are full of passionate intensity is upon us. Interestingly, Yeats wrote those words in the aftermath of the 1918-19 flu epidemic, shortly after his wife, who was pregnant, came close to dying from the influenza. Religious people, religious leaders, and religious institutions have an important role to play. We should each look to the belief systems we hold dear, to their most profound doctrines and convictions, as we seek guidance on how to react in times of tremendous stress and adversity. Most of our religious traditions have resources in doctrine and practice that can help us navigate this crisis. All of us should ask ourselves if we are behaving in ways that reflect the best of our faith traditions and will generate and be deserving of trust in ourselves, in each other, and in our most cherished institutions. Thank you for being a part of our webinar today.